so here we go. This is going to be a quick tutorial on how to use PSPLink. Now, PSPLink is basically the debugging software that you use with your PSP connected. I have steps linked to set up PSPLink for Windows builds in the description. It's based on our wiki. For Linux and other systems, it's relatively easy. Basically, you go to the directory in which you're hosting your files. One of the things that you might want to consider is elevating privilege levels, because sometimes, depending on the way that you install it, you might need to have root access to run the USB hostfs PC program. I'm just going to use the direct link, so user local PSP dev bin and then USB hostfs PC. And this creates a sort of host for your PSP to use as basically its quote-unquote file system. Now, because I built it with CMake, it's kind of not in this direct directory, but if you use your make file, the PRX would normally be out here. I'll move it in your main sort of area. So we'll just say that you made it with a make file and put it here, or that you generated it in a specific folder with a specific CMake. So for all intents and purposes, it's very simple to go ahead and start it up. With your PSP connected and open to the PSPLink application, once again, link in the description, the PSP SH, you can just go ahead and run it, and it will go ahead and connect to your PSP. So now you're in the actual shell for PSPLink. Pretty much you can do, just like any other sort of Linux command, you can just go /PSP tutorial.prx, and pretty much you can just go ahead and run it, and it will go ahead and do whatever the result is on your PSP. And because this only prints out hello world and immediately exits, you see that it immediately resets. If we add a while loop here, okay, it will regenerate. Here we go. Now it sticks and it displays hello world on my screen. One of the commands you can use is screenshot, SCR-SHOT, and then you can go ahead and do a file name and then end it with a BMP. And then you can go ahead and take a look at it, and you'll see whatever is on your screen. Normally you have your PSP right beside you, so that doesn't really matter. But as you can see, hello world is being displayed on my screen with the number 12, because that's the defined variable that we put. So now when you want to finish the program, since it's in an infinite loop, you can just go ahead and do reset, or you can use the home button on your PSP, because you did set up the callback over here. If you go ahead and reset it, it's just going to go back. So to actually quit the application, you would use the exit command. I'm not going to do that right now because obviously I'm giving you the tutorial. So now let's introduce a bug into our program. Now let's create an integer pointer t is equal to null. Okay, we have an integer t right here, and then it's equal to null. So we're going to modify it by saying start t, so dereference t equals 21 or some sort of value. And that's not obviously going to work. So if we go ahead and make it, so after we've added our bug here, we're going to go ahead and for CMake, you're going to run it with -d CMake build type equals debug to guarantee that debug information is stored within your ELF file. You can then go ahead and make it, and then you'll get this output. So you can then go ahead and run /PSP tutorial.prx. It's going to crash, and then the command you use is calc, C-A-L-C, $EPC minus $mod. This is for where the exception was found to the module loading address. So this finds the relative address in your program. It returns this value. And then we can go ahead and do adder to line at that value, and as you can see, it gives us an actual line number for our main.c at line 37 where it goes wrong. So that's the very simple way to go ahead and start debugging your PSP applications. This should work for Rust, Zig, and C or C++, so long as you're including the debug information. PSPLink has way more functionality, and you can use the help command to go ahead and take a look at all of the different things that you can do. A lot of these functions are kind of nice to have. You can power on, power off the PSP, enter like a terminal mode. You can print registers. You can do a bunch of different stuff like that. But for the most part, this is not really what you're going to be using most of the time. Unless you're like doing some really complicated things, these tools aren't going to help you as much. However, if you want to go ahead and look into it, there is plenty of information that you can get through the help command and other things like that in order to go ahead and debug. For the vast majority of cases, you're just going to be doing calc epc minus mod and then running an add or two line to get where your program is crashing, because usually it's your fault and not necessarily some weird code generation issue.